You called order, April 12th. Roll call, please, Chelsea.
Yes. Okay. Alexandria. Alex,
Sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I have dogs barking. I gotta turn them off.
thank you. Ryan.
Present.
David. Dawn.
Present.
Really. Present.
Present.
Lori. Here.
We may have noticed that Rochelle's on with us tonight. She was taking a pill and we're going to be here this evening. But hopefully she'll have a speedy recovery and join us sometime soon. Consent agenda minutes. Anybody have a chance to read the minutes? Make a motion to accept. Motion made. Is there a second? I will second. Where to go? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are speeding through this. Public comment. Do we have any public? John, is public in there? Yeah. Oh, that's your. Okay. Not saying any. Well, can technically do public comment. Not seeing any public here. Let's go ahead and move on to. I believe it should be changes to the agenda. Don't think we have any changes to the agenda. But somebody has one. Okay, no, all righty. Old business, cost recovery. Have everybody's had a chance to read all 723.5 pages of the document? Quite a lot of pages. First. Mr. Wallace, would you like to lead us through?
I would love to do this through some copy of their next week. I'll put it up on board here. All right, I'm gonna take us through a journey of where we were. We've been to where we're at right now. Hopefully the next steps going forward with our cost recovery and financial sustainability policy. And then so by the end of tonight, we have some movement to take us to the next steps. Answering questions, make some changes to it if need be. That helps kind of go through it. So through this, we're going to talk about what it is. We're going to review its time. Just what is cost recovery, the why, the timeline of the work we did departmentally. We're going to review our process and in depth about that timeline. We're going to look at the draft policy of our financial sustainability plan. We'll have time to ask questions, give comments, make changes. We're going to tie in the master fee, just separate from the policy, but like kind of parallels it. And then our next steps as far as possibly bringing counsel for application themselves.
John, before you continue, are you okay with us asking questions as you go, or do you want to stop over?
No, please go as you go. Okay. I feel pretty comfortable with being the answer. Michelle was going to be here to help out. We'll take some questions now. We can get back to you. But interrupt at any time. Yeah. So to just go back as a refresher, cost recovery really refers to the degree of which are like fees for our programs versus subsidies of how we get our income. And the reason why we have a plan is because it has long-term financial resilience that analyzes our current subsidy level. Really important one for us is to reduce the possibility of arbitrary free setting. And we have a really clear and equitable system in place on developing decisions that has transparent communication between everyone involved, our department, our board, our constituents, our council, of why we have fees that we need to look at. In short, our parks department is highly subsidized. Subsidy funds should be spent in a way that serves the greater community, and there should be an equitable system in place to determine where our subsidy is spent and how we offset the remaining costs through our fees and revenues. Any questions about that? In the first 5 or 6 slides we're going to review, we're going to kind of handle through it pretty quick if you need me to slow down. So our timeline of this work in April of 2022, we entered into a contract with 110% Malia. That's Jamie Savar. She came in, she did some presentations with us. After that in July, as a department staff, we did education. What is it? Why are we doing it? What is this going to look like? In August, we started our service category development. That is We created 10 categories, which every single service that we offer as a department fits into. In October, we did our beneficiary services. So who benefits from these? And if you can remember, we rank them from the most common good to the most individualized. While that was going on, we did our cost of service analysis. And that was really just analyzing every single cost that we have, every program, every rental of a fiscal year, their cost, direct and indirect. And then finally, we're here. We're going to present to you guys and we'll go from there. So kind of a deeper into those, the education, we did it departmentally, we did it with BTAB and the city council. It was just kind of engaging of the why. It's a big presentation. We'll go through it. From there, we split up into 3 teams. We had a project team, and this team was designed to like oversee all aspects of the project, come together, talk about it in our managerial meetings. That was made up of me, Chelsea, Tiana, Rochelle, and Tyler Deans, who is an administrator, City Hall, who's our financial director and other title. Assistant city manager, or deputy city manager. Yeah. We also had a service category development team. Those are the 10 categories. That was myself, Carol, Chelsea, Rochelle. I believe Ryan was invited to be a part of that. It just happened to turn out that all of those meetings happened Monday through Friday during school hours. Ryan's teacher, so we did it, and then we kept you guys all informed as well. And then we had a data gathering team, which was almost everyone in our department. And what the data gathering team did is we looked at every single service we offered for a fiscal year. This one was interesting because of COVID, we had to go all the way back to 2018, 2019 to look at that fiscal year to have a complete year of all the services. We gathered every piece of data we could find to look at their fees, what their costs, and direct costs, staff time, participants, kind of all of that. And that gave that team was who did the cost of service analysis, which was a huge lift. Many meetings where we went through and basically every single activity we put into a service category, talked about how many participants, how many hours. Then we were able to take all of this cost of service analysis and finally get our final report of like where we're at fiscal year programs. The beneficiary service came out. This was
Great slide, just
what was that?
great slide, great. I love this.
Next.
Page 11.
Oh, yes. This was our beneficiary service. This is when departmentally we rank them. Then we had a joint session with the board and council, and we ranked them all. And then Jamie and the consultant team and Michelle went back and kind of synthesized all that information, put together their beneficiary service model, right from the most common good to really the most individualized. And then finally, this will be kind of the new information. I'm going to minimize my screen so I can see it. This is where we're at here. So if you look on the left-hand side right here, this is our service categories ranked in order from the most common good to the most individualized. So we have open access, most common good, rentals are most individualized. We skip over the next 2 columns. We have our range. And this were the goals that we as a department set out. So if you're in open access, what we want for a goal is a 0 to 5% cost recovery. Right? Open access are our parks, we don't want to make money. Right? This is where most of our subsidy goes. People pay into additional revenues. We don't want to recoup the cost, things like this. Then it goes to community events, social equity, and then you get down to the most individualized rentals, advanced and competitive classes, and our cost recovery goals get higher. Those are going to be the things that offset the subsidy that's left. Then you can see the very last column. This is where we are at and where those goals are. Right? Green being good for meeting those goals for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, which data was hard to gather, but it also paints a pretty clear picture of what we need to do to meet our policy. So there's times where, yes, the rentals, The rental is pretty alarming, and a lot of that what we found is true. We found data that people were here using space. They're using. It's like, hey, guess what? You are our community. You are from a good program, your Boys and Girls program. Of course, come on and use your space, which in our power, and in theory, would be great. I mean, sustainability wise, not so great, right? And so what we found is it was being used, just wasn't being used. So. Any questions on that before we kind of get to the meat of the policy, I guess? Oh, this is just, I like this graph better. This is the same thing on the left-hand side. It actually shows the percentages of the, yeah, that's really cool. Just kind of as a side note, it's been fun. I know this is not a policy that's been adopted yet, but we just finished our Mountain Storm basketball league. It's fun to go in, look at our budget, see what we made, see where it would fit in, look at our cost recovery rules and see what happened. It was like a nice way to good things. It's a pretty good focus for our team to understand what that goal is when we do stuff. So it's like, let's go do good. Let's go do good and make sure we're doing it in a smart way. And just focuses the entire work. They put all of that giant information. You guys don't need to know it. I'll show you. It's kind of cool. To a more workable, friendly tool instead of these giant spreadsheets. Give it 5 seconds. And then if you're interested in seeing this, oh, there it goes. And it breaks it down. This first page, it is our 15 services that are further from the cost recovery target. So we can look at our rentals. You can click into them. Click into them. Well, how about this? If you want to see this, come back and I'll show you. You should be able to click into them and it opens up like a pie chart. If you click into the pie chart and it opens it up further, you can see really incrementally inside your rentals what is working, what is not. But kind of like your spreadsheet there. Exactly. All right, come talk to me and I can show you. All right, which brings us to where we're at now. This is our draft policy of Sandy's financial sustainability plan. It is what was sent to you. It is what's also in front of you. I'm sure all of you read all 11 pages. I'm going to review some of the highlights that I thought were pretty interesting. Much of this policy is what we just talked about, right? What is the purpose? What is cost recovery or subsidy? What are our service categories? But there's also some really good information that this policy does. Talks about our funding and revenue, the strategy of this policy, investment expectations, partnerships, reinvestment, needs-based assistance, and then something that I find pretty cool is assess metrics, what to do with meeting these goals. So we can guide our work and the services that we offer. So first off, is funding and revenue. Tax source, the general fund. The property tax is paid by the city of Sandy residents. That's our subsidy, right? Parks and Recreation, I said at the beginning, is highly subsidized. 68% of our revenue comes from the general fund. If you break that down departmentally, talk about parks is almost 90% of their revenue comes from taxpayers. Knowing that is so subsidized, we work for this way and we want to make sure that we're right by our other alternative sources is our park system development charges, our SDCs, our fee and lieu. We have trustee accounts that people can donate money. Then our fees and our charges of services and grants. The fees, charges, and services and grants make up the other 32% of the department's revenue. Strategy. Our financial sustainability strategy continuing knowledge is very well. So this strategy kind of shifts when we talk about with rentals. Everything should be at low cost and no cost. We're doing good for our community. So like we need to make sure that the people who are really using the service pay for the service. Independent rentals, that shouldn't be enough left for the entire should pay for that. And this is a 4-year financial sustainability strategy that is reviewed at the end and looks at where we're at with their taxes and we need to make adjustments. Investment expectations, our service category, cost recovery points that should be reviewed in. So that's breaking down each category of those, and looking at everything. Seeing where the taxable investment goals should be analyzed, updated at least every 4 years and more frequently as necessary. So incrementally, every year, we're gonna look at the service categories, see where they're meeting, see where they're not meeting, make adjustments. And then every 4 years, we do bigger purpose of our budget. One that I really like right now, something that we're working on is partnerships. Partnerships are advantageous collaborations that position both the department as well as participating partner organizations to efficiently utilize resources needed to cost-effective and efficient services. A condition that must be met in order for the department to enter into a partnership agreement was that a reciprocal benefit. We need to make sure that both relationships in this partnership respect each other's value. True partnership isn't like, hey, let's be partners, I'll come in and use your stuff, and you can talk about Facebook. It's gotta be mutual return. Our plan.
Kind of like the school district.
Sure. Put Ant Farm in there, because I think we're starting a really great partnership. Ant Farm, the cafe, I've worked with them. We have a conflict game for our seniors. If it's not working, we can't serve it. So I talked with the executive director at Ant Farm, see if there's any sort of strategy that we could work together. Their mission is to give back to seniors, something that they're having trouble doing. So we're creating this partnership where he's sharing actually all of their menus and recipes with me, so we can put them through the county's dietitian service. Since this is a refundable program for us, that needs to meet all the requirements from OAA, the American Act funding. So they're getting approved. In return, we're going to take our seniors to his restaurant, pay full cost for it. Then we'll get reimbursed because all of his menus have been approved by funding. So if he gets people coming in, different demographic, matching their mission, we get to provide services for our seniors that we can. See, probably better quality food. So it's a reciprocal relationship and something that we're proud of, and just wanted to touch on that. Reinvestment. This guy's reinvestment in parks and recreation system. Methods, retain earning fund. Right now, our budget is set up in a way that what is left over, we get to retain that and get to use that in capital investment projects.
Is that a budget committee policy, a council policy, or a department policy?
I think it is all departments have that policy. I think that goes throughout. I do not know. I'll take that message on that. But I think each department has that same policy within it.
They had a city council, or maybe they can answer that.
Is as far as like reinvestment,
Yes,
is that a policy for department?
yes,
It's not a council policy.
budget committee.
If
I've never had one of those before.
yeah,
Everything I've always had any left over, it goes right into the general. So I said, well,
I was surprised to see that.
happy surprise.
I don't know if that's something that's new. It's not a budget committee policy to my knowledge, but I can find out.
I can find out and send out a whole staff email. So that'd be great.
That could be a council policy, and I'm just not aware of it.
That's okay.
How do we get a retained earning fund? Well, we have specialized business services. For us, specialized business service is a service that a business might have. Driving classes, right? So we have probably a mountain, who's a professional mountain biker who wants to teach mountain classes. Or come on in, we'll contract with you and we'll have an equitable split where you're providing the service. We're going to use maybe our space, we'll help you go to our city. You know, a monetary split. Then the services you are expected to meet a minimum of 5% cost recovery. That is where we come in to help build that retained earning. These basic systems, another one that I'm excited about, and that we address. This ensures that services are accessible for residents who may require assistance to support and accessing parks and recreation. Appropriations will be determined as follows: projected financial aid needs, move this by data, right? Served last year, can be expected to next year. The war threshold, how much money do you have to do this? anticipated population reserve similar to the projected SB database. But we're gonna give it to our city of Sandy residents, right? For the people that pay into it, we want to reward them. Then pay what you can model. So. So if you don't, you pay 100%, pay 50%, we pay 0. Then our system, which I really like, is if you tell us that you need it, we're going to be. Not gonna have to jump through groups, fill out paperwork. On those things.
Correct me if I'm wrong, there's an application.
Correct, you just have to apply, say you need this an application process will be. And then how we're gonna do this, we're gonna supplement this by fundraising. There's a couple ways that are really easy. There's the pay for method and the rent up method, both which can be in our registration. So you all can register for our class. The questions that we will ask you is. Like pay for anyone, pay for just in case, they'll know, you've got, I'm in line at Starbucks. Pay for my coffee, so you sign up, pay for NASCAR and basketball, and so we also have the options for it to be sponsored for another local youth basketball, would you have a band? And then the round up, say it's $124 for basketball, we round up to 125. From that, it's just rebuild that. Scholarships. Success measures means to evaluate whether or not each service is in compliance with these established cost recovery goals. There's 4. The first one is the financial viability. Is this meeting the goals that we're talking about? If rentals are at 100 to 125%, we can look and see if we get that much back. Success metric 2 is the operational efficiency. Services should meet 75% or more of the capacity, or realize minimum increase of 10% usage during each service cycle. Meaning, for Mount Storm, we wanted 200 kids. Did you get 200 kids? Got 240 this year. It was awesome. It was a good program. But we want to make sure that we have good programs and we're reaching out to meet a lot of people, and simultaneously that it's meeting the cost recovery plan. It'd be weird if you could have 5 people, but they donated $5,000, then a ton of time and effort is going into a very few amount of people, but better cost recovery bill, vice versa. We have people, but they all paid $5, we're serving a couple people, but we didn't. The other metrics are customer satisfaction. We'll be doing that for surveys, and then customer impact, the impact on the social connections through increases in activity levels, and that's done through surveys.
And I'm not sure how to phrase this. So I stumbled through it, but
It's okay.
I mean, focusing on cost recovery is an important task. And I'm just wondering, how do we keep from there so long that cost recovery? We get some kind of survey, etc. That's why I saw the success metric number 3. I mean, that's the, it was the service goods. It was a
Right.
Yeah, I can be a 4.2 out of 5, or I can be 4.8. Why reach out and know that? Why did it was too expensive? How does that, is that possible to become more than so good? Is that some? Have you thought of that? And again, like I said, it's some.
Like non-clear precise details, but I do know in our maps. Storm survey, that was one of the questions that we sent out to all of the people who registered for it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that so focused on cost recovery, that there's an element of the community that's left out. So,
I think so. We don't want to be so worried about making all this money that we're focused on and we're leaving out a demographic of the population. We want to make sure that our programs, while are financially sustainable, are also accessible to all the demographics. That's in our mission. We'll make sure that it always goes.
And I mean, I see it in the presentation, with scholarships. They didn't tell what you think, but that's fine. Again, it'd be nice to me to think at the end of the day, and that's why I went to the metric portion.
So then I do know like our social equity and human services subcategories are really low cost recovery. We're not expected to make a ton of money services that are designed like taking your barriers and access. Those are relatively cheap because we talked about. Did I answer your question, Ryan?
we're thinking, which is perfect, right?
In the event in the event success metrics are not being met, we've got some steps, right? We're gonna analyze metrics services. Why aren't they being met? We're going to suggest market increase commensurate with the recovery goal. Everything's going up in price. Is that the reason why? We need to up our pace. And then finally, if the service does not satisfy these metrics, we're going to consider the best of service at the end of our 4-year strategy for possibly sooner. Right? These are goals. We don't have to meet them every year. We're not in trouble, but we go through a program that doesn't meet our cost recovery goal. We get together as a department and we think creatively. How can we offset this with fundraising? How can we offset this with partnerships? Is there a way we can partner with this person? We've tried for 4 years. And after those 4 years, we realize this isn't working. There's going to be some times we have to make our decisions. Some programs that just financially don't make sense. But not without putting in a really good creative effort to make sure it works. All right. Switching a little bit, our master fee schedule. So what is the master fee schedule? These are fees for reimbursement for costs and policies that will be adopted by council. And why do we have a master fee schedule? It provides a clear set of guidelines for departmental fees, similar to our financial sustainability plan. That's transparent communication, reduces risk of ambiguous pricing, ensures competitive pricing and financial sustainability. What's different about a master fee schedule to our cost recovery is programs and activities, they change in price for so many different reasons. How much it costs for materials, what's contracted, how many people are in it. What the master fee schedule does is talks about the fees for things that don't change, mainly on permits. So what we have here is a master fee schedule that looks at what we currently have for rentals, what we don't have for rentals and want to add, and then the prices that we would like to use for that in our next schedule. So we could take a minute to look at this as well, maybe answer some questions, and then possibly Betty and agree to move this to council as well for adoption. So right now we have a Bornstead shelter on a splash pad that you can't. People are using it for birthday parties all the time. What we would like to do is rent that. We would like to rent it for $100 from 11 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Sunday. We talk about renting it in bigger increments. That's a really popular splash pad for everyone in the city. That's really the only shady place, especially in the summer. And by having it rented all day, you're taking out a huge section for our public. We want to keep that in mind. So it's just one more section of the rental. We have our garden bed rentals, it's $20 for your first bed, $25 for subsequent beds. Our gazebo amphitheater, it's going to stay the same. That's $200, or $300 if you're out of the district. We've got 3 smaller shelters at night that we don't rent right now, but we would like to. We've got the stage that we would like to do only on special requests. It'll be the big public or something that it wants to. Our plaza, we already do rent for the same price as our gazebo. We also have shelters at Cascadia Park that we don't rent, but we would like to. And we have plans to build a shelter at Sandy Bluff, which we like to rent the opportunity to generate revenue there. We also have green spaces. Right now, the only green space that you can rent is the campus behind the middle school. We would like to be able to offer more green spaces out there to rent and use. And we have this facility here, which we do rent out, and inside this piece, we're asking to raise a little bit more our prices to be more competitive. Just so you know, we're on this a lot. There's a lot of comparables. We look at Gresham, Lake Oswego, Oregon City, Troutdale, and Milwaukee. It's the price comparisons to what they pay, how much they pay, their windows of time. Did not. That's our existence.
It's a partnership. places that I can see the same. Area. For the day.
Did you have any questions about it?
What was, I mean, we're not something that I have.
No,
And you mentioned a couple of them had out of city prices.
oh, yes. I believe
Why do a couple of them, but not all of them?
that's where they're at right now. It is a resident, non-resident fee for those. We do want to move into a resident, non-resident fee across the board. It's adopted. Sorry, I didn't cover that. So yeah, so you can see year one, this is what goes in a resident fee. And then it's the next column, is a year one non-resident.
Okay,
Right now, it's pretty arbitrary, what is resident and non-resident. We want to figure that out. and make it. Good question.
cool, what do they hate to know?
That's fair. That's what we're doing now. Because we want to get our constituents to pay into it, if their general fund, great.
You know, we used to say that that was the fee, resident fee is the fee,
Yeah.
but if you're a taxpayer, you get a discount.
Well, it's not swallows.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. So I'm not charging you more. I'm charging you here.
Yeah.
We'll find some ethics there, but.
But it
But it
does.
does.
Yeah. Okay.
I was like, isn't that the same?
Yeah, it's totally the same, but it just goes down a little easier to say, here's our rate.
I mean, we can make.
Or you're really,
You can make.
we'll give you a discount. You can fix your tax bill.
Here, we'll make a note of that.
What's your tax bill, your water bill?
So this would be just, what you're proposing, this would just be fee. And then column G would be resident discount,
Yeah,
right? And just, let us make another right here. Thank you, yeah.
you have that technology.
No. You got infinite power. Story.
You'd be surprised at how pissed off people get. I wouldn't live just like that. So they're lemons. Okay. Let's do the rest, let's see.
Yeah.
Same reason people don't understand why they can't vote.
I want to say that was just counted voting instead of discount, so they don't think, oh, it's 130, I'm getting through the pause.
Yeah.
That is where my brain.
Any other questions, things you want to see on master fee?
Great, I'm assuming all that fits into the policy.
It's separate from the policy, but it parallels.
And maybe a question for counselor. These are adopted annually, biannually, as part of the budget process or individually?
So both. So for the most part, typically Tyler will do an annual review and then go back to council. I feel like it's usually, I hate to say which month, but it does not coincide with the budget process. And come back with the master fee schedule.
Yeah, I've seen it both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, so our recommendation to end this is that staff recommends that the Parks Board review comments on the draft policy for the Parks and Recreation Financial Sustainability Plan and improve the master fee schedule. And that staff recommends that the Parks Board supports the Parks and Recreation Department presenting the Financial Sustainability Policy Council application. That's just what we recommend.
That's a suggestion.
If we can ask more questions, we can. We can open it up for discussion, we can. We want to look at the board and go forth, we can do that as well.
But the other thing that was, and maybe about this, and it just, there's no way to move it on to financial, because it's such a financial based document, it should be right, so that it's clear and concise, equitable. But there was nothing for any partnerships for volunteers and Yeah, it's kind of a difficult thing to turn that into cash, right? To turn that into policy. I mean, you guys talk about that at all.
Volunteering is actually not addressed in the financial sustainability plan, but it is a part of our goal to clear the process of what our volunteer process looks like. It's kind of a simple thing, it's a goal for this next 5 years. But it's not addressed in this plan. But it'll probably something that you hear about in the next 2 years.
I guess my comment is I have one minor, very minor format change.
Yeah,
But put your definitions into an appendix.
say that again.
Put your definitions into an appendix.
In the appendix, like anything, kind of like after the, yeah, the beneficiary service model.
Yeah. That way, people can read talk, you know, they're gonna read the.
Yeah.
After good, it's
I started.
I have a question on the retained earnings.
I like the graphic. Well, those really nice. I like some of the other things they have up there. I don't think they should be in the policy, but when they're doing your presentation at council, I've definitely spending a little bit more time on those things.
Okay.
And I think those things, I think it's pretty important. I told Michelle, I think that every typically part of our departments tend to read all these kinds of things within the city. Just because oftentimes we're looked at as kind of piggyback to the city, oh, we need to do this, but it's right here. Well, the reality is, while we are fee-based, almost every department within the general fund, the larger ones are fee-based too. I know bigger of an impact you'll find in fees other than the parks is the planning department. I personally would love to see all the departments go through this. I don't think they're, they're fee-based, they are, and every one of them has some fees associated with it. Every one of them should have this kind of a look at. As it moves through the, move into the budget process. This should be, in my opinion, for the entire city, not just a department. So my soapbox there. If there's soapbox in. Anybody have any other questions, comments, observations, or motions to be interested in making?
We just support the Parks and Recreation Department presenting the policy for the financial sustainability plan and the master fee schedule as written and provided. With some adjustments to the issue that.
For a second for that. Okay, moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Excellent. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thank you.
You did great.
Let's find out where there's a week tonight.
Yeah, so you never give me go through that presentation again.
Why, I asked you.
No, you've done it so many times. Okay, yeah, you come in. Good God, what are you doing tonight?
All righty, well, let's go ahead and move with a hugely important topic on new business, summer meeting schedule. David, welcome. Now you want to walk us through our meeting schedule.
Perfect, this is the summer meeting schedule for our sports to meet. Basically, there is not a crazy amount of stuff on our agenda. We have the ability to have a meeting. We're going to see if there's one that we follow really fun, get back some time. A suggested meeting would be the July meeting, coincides with a concert. It's going to will give us the opportunity to be at the concert, show some outside live music, some refreshments. Yeah. I believe the date is July 12th. Yeah. It's the Fleetwood Mac, I believe so.
Oh, yeah, Fleetwood Mac is coming, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, July 12th is the one that I think would make the most sense.
We have Christine.
Yeah.
So I am in Rick Cleveland, man. And run Valley, so.
Are you see it?
Yeah.
I saw him.
But yes, he goes to the, what is it called? Fleetwood, just called Fleetwood, right?
And the rest of them. I've been right.
We would watch, we're so confused, we were meeting. It's like a anniversary dinner, he's back, I stuff like. Why, this is weird. I guess he might be Scottish, and so he loves that. And he.
Every night, that's right.
Every night, I think about it. Over the ocean.
It's his restaurant.
Well, anyway, getting back to the topic.
Oh, right.
July, are we interested in taking July? Yeah. And down with you. No, I don't think. Yeah. I made a big Fleetwood in May. Sorry. I haven't been. Okay, staff updates.
We're just out there working away, taking care of the parks and making repairs. Working through our playground inspections right now and have identified a few things that need replacement. Again, we had some vandalism at Timberline Park last week.
Oh,
So we had to remove an element and for part of the playground right now from the state, but I'm contracting manufacturers trying to get replacement equipment in. We have done some repairs to the smaller structures up in Reading in preparation for the summer. Some repairs at the community garden to make those garden beds aesthetically pleasing and safer to use. We put in the new staircase that we were awarded grant funds for last year up at the top lot. We get to hire our seasonal and they will be joining us the 24th of this month. And then John and I today got a great conversation with some nice ladies from the Palm Bath Veterans and Motorcycle Association that are interested in doing some fundraising for us and helping us give the Veterans Memorial a facelift replacement. I've gone out trying to collect some bids for that and working with that relationship.
Recreation and senior services, I'll highlight a few of the things that our staff has done. I'm going to start with Carolina Smallwood, our client services coordinator, brought back the RESPA program. I think I mentioned it last time. The RESPA program is a program that's designed to do twofold. It serves memory loss, early onset, Alzheimer's dementia patients, and gives them a time to recreate, socialize, engage, while giving their caretaker time to rest and break. Our first RESPA program was last Thursday with one individual. We got to check, had an awesome time. The caretaker was his wife came in and was super nervous and coming back there, he was smiling ear to ear, just laughing and see like this wave. Her shoulders go, came back a couple of days later and gave feedback. She was like, it was just so lovely. She couldn't wait for Thursday. She's like, I'm going to Costco. I haven't gone to Costco in such a long time. I was like, oh, perfect. That's the good work. That's not much change. What's ever doing. And this week she has 3. So that's like all on her. Obviously, we got that with some questions, but that's a big undertaking. She's got to go from nothing to lead that, find volunteers. Amy Light is our new coordinator, who's not saying no anymore. And the work she's done in the community gardening is pretty great. All of our beds are rented. Very ahead of time. She's been out, she's canvassed. The other thing she's doing is she's had work parties, which she's reached out to people who are gardening owners to help clean up. She's got a second one scheduled to happen. Things that I really like is that she's also in charge of coordinating our B City, our pollinators. But she's made another plan where you can donate or sponsor a pollinator box that would hang on the fence outside to plant local pollinators and then provide partner on it. So she's got sponsors with boxes and is working with possible Boy Scout troop to come in and do some painting on to provide just volunteer work. That's been with the amount of feedback we've got, it's been really positive for that. So out of her, Carol's machine, working with Carol, she's got a softball already up and registered for. Skyhawks, our local summer sports camps are up and ready to register for. She's made a new relationship, made a reference to Robbie from up in that, because BMX, we're gonna offer BMX 5 camps this year. Entry level, something that people who recreate here, that we definitely get done. Yeah, she's super passionate about it, love it, bringing things that just keep on happening. And then Mark, our transportation coordinator, keeps on crushing it with having a great events. We have a full bus day, go out for a hike, and then lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings, where let's be honest, in my managed place, and we got to go there and we doted on with a couple of advertisements free of charge. And it's just fun to see this place be busy and active. It's doing good work. Yeah, where I am obsessed and got way too nervous about presenting this. That was my staff report.
All righty. Anybody have anything for the good of the order? Nope. Well, let's stand adjourned.
Sounds great. Great.
Good job,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Just start a second.
It's still.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting some